Hey, what's up everybody? Josh here, and today we are going to demonstrate the brand new plugin from Neural DSP, and I mean brand new, as it was just released this morning, December 20th, 2023, and that is the Morgan Amplification suite. Now, if you're primarily a rock or metal musician, you might not be too familiar with the name Morgan Amplification. It might not be a household name like your Peavey and your Mesa, etc., but these amplifiers have a lot to offer. They're very versatile, and they go from the sweetest, chimiest cleans you've ever heard to even some crazy crunch rock stuff. They can go there if you push it, and this suite that Neural has put together will allow us to do any of that, and very easily. So don't sleep on this one. Give it a chance. You just might be surprised at how inspired you could be by that. So I have it loaded up in my DAW here, and we're just going to dive right in and take a look at it and see what we think. Now, can we talk for just a second about how beautifully these amps are modeled in the Neural plugins? They pay so much attention to detail, and their graphical interfaces are just fantastic. One thing to know before we go any further is you can change the skins on these. You can right mouse click and then go to the driftwood, which is like this 70s couch looking thing, and then you can go to the twilight, which I really enjoy, and then the tweed is like, whoa, it's like this crazy Chester Cheetah eyeball attack. Probably not what I would want to use, but hey, it's there if you're into it. We'll stick with the twilight. It doesn't change any of the sound or anything, just the look. So let's just hear how it sounds out of the box. It sounds fantastic. So this AC20 is what we are greeted with, and if I'm going to equate this to an amplifier we all know and love, I would say it's pretty close to like a Vox AC30. Now, it's a little uncouth to just say it's an AC30 clone, because it's really not. There's more to it than that. For instance, this power control affects the volume without affecting the tone, which is a really cool touch if you want to get subtle with your changes, whereas the volume control starts to change some of that tone. So they have thought that out. It's very easy to dial in things subtly instead of just drastic, crazy stuff. This cut acts like a presence control. So that's there. And then you have like a bass boost here and some other things. I'm honestly not too sure what that is. I think it's a bright and dark tonality switch, but don't quote me on that. I'm still getting used to these. So there's the AC20. Then we have the PR12. This is a little bit more going on the front end. It has the built-in reverb, which is like what Morgan's famous for, is their built-in reverbs on their amps. But you'll also see this dwell control. The dwell control kind of controls the decay on the reverb, so you can affect how much decay is on the end of a reverb without changing too much other than just that, and it's a real subtle thing. Then you have your bass and treble controls here. And then on the third amplifier, that's the 50 watt they have, or the SW50, this here, it has the built-in reverb, and then you have some more traditional controls like your bass, middle, and treble, and then you have your bright and dark, and then you have your bass boost. I believe that's what that is. Man, if I'm wrong, tell me, because I'm still, like I said, getting used to these. This is the first time I've really had the chance to mess with these. So anyway, we're all learning together. But that's what this is. So if you're familiar with Neural DSP products, you're going to be familiar with how this is laid out. Let's talk about the interface a little bit. Starting up top, you have your signal chain here, you have your pedal section, and I kept reading these as organ and thinking they were organ pedals. I'm going, man, there's a lot of organ pedals in here. That's gotta be fun, but it's actually Morgan, duh. But if you look down at the bottom right, you can see what they are. So starting over here, we have a compressor. Then we have two different overdrives. Overdrive 1 is more of like a blues driver type situation where you have, your drive and level controls, and then overdrive 2 is a little more aggressive. There's a little more frequency control on the front end, and if you really want to saturate that amp, this is what you're going to go for. And then you have a really nice warm tremolo pedal here that a lot of these presets are going to take advantage of, and I'm excited for that. Amplifier section, we looked at that already. Now the cabinet section, this is where it gets really cool, because you'll notice, unlike a lot of the other Neural plugins, this is just a 1x12 cabinet here. It's the Morgan 1x12 cab. I believe it has a Celestian cream back in it. Don't quote me unless I'm right. Correct me in the comments. You can mic it up with two different mic options. And speaking of look at all of these microphone options in here. Oh my goodness, there's just a plethora. You have your 57s, you have your condensers, your ribbons. It's all here and it sounds so good. Okay, moving on, we have a 9-band EQ for every amplifier. It's different, so this is the one for the 50, this is the 12, and then the AC20. And then last on the post section, we have this delay pedal. This is funny because Neural likes to tease their products a couple days before release. They'll say like soon, and then, you know, tomorrow, and they show little silhouettes of the amp and maybe the pedals and stuff. And this pedal really threw some people for a loop. I was reading on some forums, you know, trying to guess what it was that they were releasing, and some people thought this was like a dark glass type pedal because it does have that look, and some people were saying, oh, it's going to be a bass release, which would have been awesome, but no, it was just this delay pedal, so they really had some people guessing. I don't know if that was on purpose, but good for them. But this is what it looks like. You can sync it with your DAW, you can tap delay, you know, tap tempo here, or you can just do your milliseconds, which I usually prefer to do. Or you can ping pong it as well, which, you know, ping pong to the left and right for the delay. And then you have a tape drive, which is a cool, unique feature for this one. So if you want to add some warmth to that delay, you can, width, control. Then the reverb pedal, it just looks solid as a rock. I think it is. And in this plugin, the reverb is going to be really important because we're using a lot of single coil clean type stuff. That's a brief overview of the signal chain. Then if you look in the middle here, you have your input control, your noise gate that's built in. Then you have a transposer, so you can take it from this to that if you want, or anywhere in between, or you can go really crazy. That's what the inside of my brain sounds like at any given time. So double click to reset. Then you can do input as stereo or mono, and then you have a doubler here. So that takes us from, well, actually I should turn it off first to show you. It takes us from this, which sounds just fine, to something more like this. And as we increase that delay, it gets wider and wider. Would I use it in a mix? Probably not, but if I'm doing like a live stream or something where I'm just jamming around, I'd probably use it. I think it sounds great. So Neural DSP has given us a lot of presets to choose from. Let's just go through some of these. Let's start with this Blue Hotel one. And you can take that from that to something a little more aggressive with just the flick of a switch on your pickup selector. And that's one thing I'll mention is these tones are really dependent on your guitar setup as well, because we can go from this to this. With just a little change of the pickup configuration. And I'm one of those players that's constantly down here flipping the switch around from single to humbucker because I like the different tonalities. Pretty cool. Those dotted eighth notes with the delay. We're in for a treat on this one. I think we'll go to the humbucker on this one and see how this one sounds. That's definitely alien, but it's definitely melodic. There we go. Sounds good to me. That could just go on forever. Out of this world clean. Okay, let's see if we can go out of this world. Okay, yeah, I get it. It's pretty out of this world. This is another one where I think if we change up that humbucker, or to the humbucker, we're gonna get a cool sound out of it. You hear how that, I love how that delay kind of chases what you're playing, and you can do some cool stuff like that and get that little after effect. A nice touch on that one. Let's try this one out. Okay, there's my favorite one so far. Mean Little Crunchy Guy. I've met a few of these at a bar. That is a pretty mean little crunchy guy, isn't it? A little blues action going. Really cool. So there are so many places we can take these amplifiers, and they sound fantastic in this plugin. I think if there's anything that I would have to sum this up with as far as what I love about this plugin, it's the inspiration that comes from the ability to have access to so many diverse tones that maybe take it to a different place musically and allow you to think a little differently about your composition, or maybe just certain parts that require a little more grace. This can do it all, and I'm so thankful to Neural for really breaking the boundaries and not just staying in the high gain world, but really breaking out and modeling something so beautiful and giving us access to it. So again, there's 14-day trials available of this plugin. I hope you'll go and see for yourself what you like to do with it and consider making a very good purchase. The deal for this, 3 Morgan amplifiers for like $100. Dude, it's a no-brainer if you can spare the fliff. This is a tool that you can use in so many creative ways to get amazing sounds and recordings with. So I hope you enjoyed our demonstration. Until next time, thanks for watching. I didn't know what to say. Thanks for watching. All right.